inside out. I'd recently spoken the same at the Bhakti Center. Alan might be thinking, hey, you're repeating yourself. That's why I'm warning you. You still have time to go to the next room.
You'll get your money back.
Is there another seat that I can have? Yeah, he's giving. So we're going to explore 3 themes from the Gita, which can actually help us start the new year, begin again. It's another year, but on a different note than usual. So let's see what we can learn from the Bhagavad Gita and see how we can actually have a year or make most out of this year. So I do have a question for all of you. What is well-being for you? Because whether we loudly think about this or not, we are constantly doing whatever we think is our well-being. So it's a very pertinent question. It's an underlying question that's a background music of all our lives, whether we are loudly thinking about it or not. So what do you think is well-being for you? So you can introduce yourself to the person sitting next to you and share. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Just share with them what do you think is well-being for you, and we can come back and as a room we could discuss again. Thank you. I hope you got to discuss some of your thoughts. So anyone would like to share what you guys discussed, what stood out, what is your idea of well-being? Any volunteers? Yeah.
Well, we discussed that there's a lot that goes into being well, and there are a lot like being mentally well, physically well, and then there's just so many things that go into being well, and then when one thing is gone, then you're just not well, you know. Yeah, that's like being mentally well, physically well.
So you mean like taking care of all those layers?
Yes.
To your best?
Okay. Like for example, if you get sick, it doesn't matter that you're physically well, you're still unwell.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
Well-being for me would be capability or ability to get what is good for me and avoid what is bad for me. If I am in that state, I'm well.
So you judge the quality of your life based on your determination to choose what's good for you and avoid what's bad for you?
Not only choose, but also able to receive what I think is good.
Thank you. Thank you, Nupur and Saraswati. Anyone else?
Can I go?
Yeah, please.
So I had said that when you have control over your emotions, so you know how you would respond to certain situations to prevent, maybe something chaotic from happening. Because, our emotions really do have an effect on how we function on a regular day. So, having control over emotions, I think that's definitely
Emotional well-being.
work in progress.
Thank you. Yeah, it's surely a work in progress. Anyone else?
Me.
Yeah.
Control. I agree. You gotta control. You gotta be in control of everything.
Good luck. Starting on a great note. So, based on some research, because it's a 40 minutes discussion, I'm not presenting the background of the research. Based on research, that they had come to this conclusion that there are 3 factors for well-being, and especially when life includes these, it increases when well-being of one. And the words are slightly different, but here I'm using the words identity, action, and connection. And it's pretty much very similar to what the Gita says. when Arjuna is in confusion and Arjuna is in a crisis, Krishna explains to him about these things. He explains to him who he is, what he should do, and in what connection, like why he should do that. And we're going to explore that. Why? Because identity, why is it so important? Because we can't build a peaceful life on a fragile sense of self. As you were saying, there are many layers of ourself, and if we are not very clear, one layer could upset all the other layers. So having a fragile sense of self is usually not going to lead to a very peaceful life, because as Alan said, we all wish we could be in control of everything, but the reality is we are not. So are we going to never be happy because things are not under our control completely? So we're trying to see what is within our control and how we can actually increase the circle of influence. Yes, Alan?
What I mean is like we work towards being in control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All the best.
Yes.
So why is identity so important? Why is it that the Gita starts with identity? Why Krishna begins with identity? Because whatever we think who we are, accordingly we perceive the world, and accordingly we react to whatever is happening around in the world. So the same things that's happening around all of us, we each one have a different reaction, because we have a different perception, and that perception comes from our own identity, who we think we are. Something happens, I remember me and my friend were in the same train, and the train stopped, and the doors were open. It's 12 at night, like we are coming back from a program, and the doors were open and the train just stopped. And after waiting for a while, there was an announcement that there is a man with a gun standing in front of the train, blocking the train. So that's why the train is not moving. And everyone was freaking out. And the doors weren't even closed. The doors were open. The train doors were open. And I was somewhat newer to the city. And I never thought there will be a gunman standing outside the train and at the middle of the night. So we were not sure whether to get out of the train, stay inside the train. Everyone was confused, and there was a lot of commotion. And here I had another person sitting before us, and he started expecting that who would be the gunman, like what kind of a person would be that person, which country he might have been. And he had already he had profiled without seeing the person, and we were wondering okay, he has a complete conviction that that kind of a person will be the gunman. And with all of that, he was yelling, he was shouting, and we thought, okay, let's get out of the train, go down, and then come back, and there's no train downstairs. So we again came back, thought at least we'll be in this train if at all there is something happens. And eventually, after 15 minutes of confusion, they realized that the guy had a toy gun in his hand. The police came, and then they realized he had a toy gun.
Where was it?
This was from Queens back to Manhattan. So we have why I'm saying this is this guy had this perception that who would be the gunman. So he had certain idea who he is, what is his experience in the world, and he had a certain perception of what is happening, and he had a reaction. So how we see ourselves changes how we actually react to the world, whatever is happening around us, and whatever is happening within our lives, we'll be able to handle it differently if we have a different idea of who we are. So clarity surely does not come from controlling life. Sorry, Alan. But from understanding yourself better, because we can try our best to control everything around us. We can't control the weather. We cannot control the politicians. We can to some extent, but not fully. We can control sometimes even our bodily reactions. So having a better understanding ourselves will help us actually get ready for the storms that would eventually come.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we figure out how to better understand ourselves?
You come to Darshan room. We'll help you.
When you tell me now.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So I have another question. So since we are exploring the topic of identities, we did hear many different identities here in this room when we discussed. that he said that we have a physical layer, we have an emotional layer. She spoke about emotional well-being. So what do you think, how many different kinds of identities you have? And what is the most important identity that you think of all the different identities that you have? So you want to discuss with another person that you did not speak before? Quickly. Yeah.
What was the question?
The question is, what are the different kinds of identities you think you have, and which one is the most important and why? Eyes if you hear me. Clap thrice if you hear me. Thank you. I hope you got some time to discuss about the different identities. Anyone would like to go?
I know my future identity. My future identity is I want to be a gold medalist of the Olympics.
What about the current identity?
My current identity is right now I'm just a casual pickleball player.
Do you think that will lead you to the future identity? Anyone else? Yeah.
Namaste everyone.
Thank you.
My name is Darshan. I'm just first trying here. I'm just curious. I'm just listening about identities. As a woman, I have a lot of identities. I can be a mother. I can be a daughter. I can be a spiritual seeker. I can be a student. I can be a professional. Anything, so professionalities, a lot of things, and also we can change with flow, like a ego personality, ego identity, spirituality identity, a lot of things we can be a change with situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's idea.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
So we were discussing the three of us. So Vishnu was saying like we have different identity when we go to work, when we have different identity at home. So beneath that there is like similarity in that. And Gaurav was saying like there is a mask that we wear when we go to different and interact in different places. But underneath what is the essence is the same, which is the connection.
Mm-hmm.
The underneath it is the essence, what you treasure the most, to be integrity with yourself, integrity connection with divine, integrity spreading your beauty that doesn't harm anyone. So that's the most important identity.
Thank you. It's almost like you're covering my talk. Thank you, guys. So one of this identity that we have so many identities, so we're going to explore some of them and see how we deal with all of these. So we all have this identity, like I'm this person. Someone asked me, I'm so and so. Like once a boy asked his father, what's the difference between anger and exasperation? So the father said, those days there was this dialing phone. He said, pick a random number from the phone book. They used to have a phone book. So he said, pick a random number, let's call. So he called and then he asked, is there Kevin here? So they said, no, this is not Kevin. So he said, this is called irritation. And he said, again, call the same number. He said, is Kevin there? I told you there is no Kevin here. He said, he's slightly more disturbed. And then third time he called, is Kevin here? He said, I told you there is no Kevin here. He said, this is anger. And then he told, okay, call him now. And said, I'm Kevin, did you get any calls for me? So this person like completely lost it. So that is exasperation. So there is an identity. So I think I have a certain name, I'm so and so, and another person relates to another person with their name. So we all have these identities as name, as a job. So very much based upon our body. So we will explore those things also, but specifically we have a particular identity based on our body, as she said, as based on our gender, based on our nationality. So we have a particular identity. And what happens is, how do we deal with this? So it's based on either our appearance, how healthy we are, what's our age, our strength or weakness. And the problem with just identifying with this is, so what we are going to explore here is, Yes, these identities are there. What's the problem in making it as the only identity or the most primary identity of ourselves? Yes, there is a body that we need to take care of, that we live in, and so we need to keep it up. However, just making it as everything, that my appearance is everything, or my age is everything. So it's constantly changing. Aging or sickness or comparison, all these things constant become a constant source of anxiety. When we think, oh, I'm just this body, just this appearance, just this, uh, how fit I am. So when identity is purely physical, there is constantly a fear of loss of that identity, and also self-worth feels fragile, and naturally we don't want to age, and we see, oh, time is pushing, it's another new year, and we have grown a year old. So time feels like, we feel anxiety about the passing time. So life becomes a fight against nature when we constantly think, I'm just this body. Then we have to produce a lot of things to actually keep up the appearance or anti-aging, or just fight against nature constantly. It's nothing wrong in maintaining health, but just assuming that's all I am, and if I lose this identity, I'm nobody. So that fear of loss can be very anxious. And a lot of people don't think about their appearance, they just casually dress, but they're very much about their thoughts. And what happens when you just primarily identify yourself with your thoughts or your intelligence, that your thoughts, opinions, your mental narratives, so thoughts constantly change, and it could be inaccurate also. We could be belonging to one end of the political spectrum, we could change it tomorrow to the other side, we could be with one opinion, but it can constantly change. So overthinking becomes an identity when just thoughts, I'm what I think. So there was a philosopher, he said, I'm because I think. So anxiety also feels very personal because mental narratives, we can create our own mental narratives. The world, there are problems in the world, but we have a perception of that problem, and it can become everything. Yeah.
So are you saying that we should not think too much about our health and what we're thinking about?
I already gave a disclaimer that we are not saying any of these identities are not important. We are saying when you make it as the exclusive thing, you take it too over, you make it everything. Instead of that is one of my identity, that is not everything of me.
So what should we do?
So you have to wait for a few more minutes. So overthinking, so negative thoughts also can just completely overcome us. So we lose inner clarity and peace when we just take our mind and thoughts like too seriously. And the other kind of, as she was saying, like emotional well-being. So when I consider it's my emotions, today I woke up happy, so my day is going to be happy. Today I woke up grumpy, so I'm just going to be like grumpy towards others. So how we feel today, emotional highs and lows, when we become defined by those things, the problem is they are temporary signals, and we will make permanent decisions sometimes based on those temporary emotions, and that can cost us a lot. So moods control behavior, and the clarity also disappears when we are stressed, and relationships feels volatile when everything is just emotion. A relationship constantly feels like, oh, today I feel good about being with this person, but another day I don't feel good, so should I go about how I feel or should I just push through? So things become volatile when it's all based on emotions, and life becomes very unpredictable and also exhausting because mind is constantly, the emotions are constantly changing. The other kind of identity that sometimes we end up over identifying is the roles that we play in life. As a student, as a professional, mom, parent, partner, caretaker. So we all have so many identities. So roles are very necessary. They are very functional. They make us functional. That's how we contribute in the world. But they are not permanent. Like I remember, sometimes people take professional identity too seriously also. And then when they retire, they don't know what to do with life. They just think like it's all done. Everything of their life was that particular role they played. I saw my mom go through that personally. She was a school principal and she got retired, and she just could not that easily handle that change. Suddenly, one fine morning, she was no one. She can walk into the same building, and all the students, all the teachers, everyone won't just like salute her, or no one will care for what she says, what she wants or anything. So for 30, 40 years you played a certain role and you think you are in control, and there is an identity that you have strongly identified. There are these stats say that most people don't get to actually enjoy their retirement fund because just the loss of identity can lead to a lot of mental anxiety and physical disease, and a lot of people cannot handle the stress too of loss of that big identity. And of course, every other identity is also subject to change. They are not permanent. As long as the body is there, these identities, some of them will stay, but they're constantly in a flux. So when we identify with it so much, then burnout increases. I know students who have panic to leave that identity of being a student and become a professional. They don't know if they will get a job, what kind of job. So there's just that loss of identity of being a student when they haven't got a job and they just passed out of school. It's a complete loss of identity. So there is a lot of anxiety there. And the burnout can increase, and criticism feels very threatening. Retirement, failure, or change may feel very terrifying. So you feel lost when roles shift. And the other kind of identity we can over identify is our achievements. Success, recognition, productivity, status, all of these things, they never last in this world. Like I remember when TikTok got banned in India, overnight people were nobody. They had millions of followers. They made money. That was their identity. They woke up doing TikTok, and that was their day. And suddenly the government banned it, and they were all protesting. Oh, like I lost everything now. I lost my business. I lost my identity. But it's not a. Of course, it is a big change in life. But I'm consider that it's all that I have. So pressure never ends when we have that kind of an identity that I have to be successful of a certain way. Like we always say, to be happy is a noble uh, need. That's the nature of the soul. But if I think I want to be happier than another person, that no one can actually guarantee. We have the right to be happy, but there is no guarantee we could be happier than other people. We could be successful, but there is no guarantee that we could be more successful than someone else. So when we are constantly comparing and achievements with others, that comparison can actually steal our joy. And even when productivity is the identity, even rest feels undeserved. You feel like you're losing out. You're constantly going to work, exhaust yourself, and that's going to actually affect the quality of life. So peace is always postponed to the next win when achievements are the identity. So yeah.
An, an identity as like a devotee for God or Krishna, does that like differ? Like, does it justify anything in any way?
Can you?
Especially for like those devotees that committed like a life in the ashram,
Mhm.
like a monk, and then like just live like a life aside, like
Mhm.
just left and just live like their own life.
Mhm. I personally don't think I left my life aside. Means I just chose. There is a chosen family. There is a chosen cause, so that I have chosen to actually give my attention to or energy to. And even the monk is a very temporary identity. It's not everything. It does not fully define me. That could change. So that's not the only identity that I have. And the identity of a monk and identity of a spiritual seeker, they are different, I would say, because I can not be a monk and still be a spiritual seeker.
I kind of was like more like generally like asking,
Mm-hmm.
like, because if you want to take like a path like as like monkhood,
Mm-hmm.
like how do you balance out that identity
Of
of like as a devotee for Krishna and as a seeker?
like I would say, even if someone is not a monk, they can still be a seeker and they could be a devotee. However, I might think, according to my psychophysical nature, this is a position in which I can actually contribute to the world in a better way. And if I'm able to keep up my personal well being and I'm able to contribute in this social position, I'm okay with that.
If that like ability or like that sense of,
Yeah, it's a psychophysical nature.
but if it was like lost, like in any way,
Uh,
would it like alter, like that's like psychological, like idea that,
Say, for example, if I feel like, oh no, I need more of an emotional support. So then, if I feel like at this stage of life, so then that's a loss. I could say I have a psychophysical nature which is like coming up. So accordingly, the position may change. I'm not sure if I'm making it easy for you. But basically, the idea of monk as an identity is again temporary. It's based on a particular social status. But being a spiritual seeker is you can be a spiritual seeker in any kind of way, in any status of life, young, old, or like be a monk, not be a monk, married, unmarried, anything, man, woman, yeah,
Question.
yeah.
So the goal to be a monk is to spread knowledge. Is that why you want to be a monk?
To also exclusively focus on my own spiritual life at the same time, serve others as much as possible. Yeah.
You could be like a college professor, and you could do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So why you want to be a monk? Why not college professor?
The same thing. Like my question is, why not? Why not? Why I can be choose to be a monk?
No, I'm just wondering. Like, would you rather be a college professor?
No, I understand my nature, psychophysical nature. So I realize, oh, I can be a college professor very easily. I was a software engineer, so it's not that I cannot be, but I feel more comfortable being a monk. Yeah. Oh, how did we transition to this?
Based on what you said.
Okay. Yeah.
I think back, as far as I can think back, and the first time I opened my eyes, I was sitting on my father's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the beach, I could hear the ocean and all that. And the sun was bothering my eyes. I opened my eyes and I heard all these voices, the family. But I had a sense that this was me.
Mm-hmm.
Separate from everything else, this was me. And I've always, throughout my life, through my profession, motherhood, everything, it was just something I did. I'm doing this now, and I'm doing that now. But that person that opened their eyes on my father's shoulder, that's who I felt was me. That was my identity, that was me. So I kind of like don't understand how somebody could identify with things that they do as opposed to who they are.
It depends on each one's evolution of consciousness. So, the same way they will be wondering, how can you not identify with what you do? It's at each one's consciousness level. So, you're fortunate. We're happy for you.
No, I was like, my question was, what is, like,
Yeah.
then what is identity? If the minute you open your eyes, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is me. So how could something I do become me? That I don't understand.
But
Yeah.
we're not really limited to only one identity, right? We
Mhm.
could have like a
All of these
permanent-
identities
permanent
and more.
eternal identity, but at the same time, many temporary
Temporary
identities, and we're okay with it.
Yeah. So that's directly leading to the next topic that we are going to discuss. But before that, I see you did raise your hands.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go back to what you were asking, right? So I think what you were talking about was spiritual discipline or something like. So you deciding that you want to be a monk, I assume that you would have to have spiritual discipline. So going back on what you were saying, like, what if you were to like were you talking about like if you were to like stray off of your discipline, how do you like go back to centering yourself as a monk?
Just asking myself, what do I want in life? Like me coming to New York City, that was my experience. Like after a while, I was just getting bewildered looking at everything, and I had to ask myself, what do you want in life? So if I won't make a choice, the city will make the choice for me. So I don't think that choice would be a better choice. So then I need to ask myself, what do you want in life? Who are you? What do you really want to do with your life? So, as I was saying, this is a big identity too. We base upon ourselves based on our relationships, because we all want to feel like wanting, being needed, being loved, being validated. So that can become when it becomes lopsided, like when people emphasis so much on their relationships, sometimes they lose themselves. uh, like losing themselves in love seems to be a very romantic thing, but on a practical level there is nothing like healthy about losing our identity in a relationship. So as I say, two halves don't make a whole, in the sense, two halves make a donut hole. So if in a relationship, two people, when they come, two whole individuals wanting to serve the other, when they come together, then actually it's a complete wholesome relationship. If each one is walking into a relationship thinking, oh, the other person will actually serve me, the other person will actually, I want to take in this relationship. So when two people enter into a relationship, it could be any kind of relationship, in a mood of giving, then it is always healthy. So here, relationships, they constantly change. People change. It's so crazy uh, how people could change and jeopardize our whole life actually when people change. So there is fear of loss that increases. Boundaries actually weaken. Sometimes we may bend our back some or other to save the relationship. We may just weaken our boundaries, and self worth also fluctuates. So love turns into dependence. And in this way, this is also an identity. But as you were all referring to, there's one identity which is beyond all of these things. When you take off all of these things, still, as that child opening their eyes on the lap of their father, or on the deathbed, when we are just, all of these things are no more actually important. When someone is dying, my mom passed her body right on my lap, and in that state, the body is giving up, thoughts are like she's unconscious, there may be emotions, there's a role, still it's all there, but it's all being taken away forcefully from someone. So when we are on the deathbed, most of these identities does not matter. So what is that? As she was saying, we are that, the Gita says that we are that person. We're not just our body. We are not our thoughts or emotions or roles or achievements or relationships. Ultimately, we are the one who experience the body. We are not the body. We are the one who actually have thoughts. We are not those thoughts. And we feel the emotions. We are not those emotions. We play certain roles, we pursue certain goals, but we are not those goals, we are not those roles. So it's not the problem. I think I haven't updated the slide. So you don't deny the body, mind, or life. I'm not saying about that you don't need to take care of your mind, emotions, roles, anything. No, what we are saying is you relate to them without being swallowed by them. As she was saying, don't think that is you. You are actually playing those roles and you're having those goals, but that does not mean that's all you are. If this goal is not there, okay, you could actually still, you have value inherently. Your value is not dependent upon what you have achieved or what you have actually, it's not about a performance. Life is not about performing alone. You inherently have a value, and exploring that is very important, and that value is eternal. That value does not change because you grow old, or you get, like, I know a person who got dementia. So is that like, have they changed? They have forgotten everything. They don't even remember their own spouse or anything. They don't have any thoughts, like they can't remember who they are. So still that person has an identity. So that vision actually can bring to understand that I am the observer. I have a body. I have thoughts. I have emotions. It's not me. When we understand really that and actually meditate on that and develop that proper identity, the identity of the observer, there will be inner stability. There will be emotional resilience. there will be freedom from over identification with any of these other identities. Otherwise, we'll be constantly, our life will be a flux. We'll be pulled by all these identities in all directions, and we will not know what's happening. So when we have this identity of an observer and we nourish that mentality and become situated in it through spiritual practice, then life is something you participate in, not something that actually owns you. It's not happening to you. You are actually witnessing it and you are participating in it. You have the permission to step aside from life, from the world. You can let the world go. You can step aside and take a stand for you. What you want to be, what you actually choose to do. You won't be forced by circumstances all the time. So we suffer not because we have a body or we have a mind. Of course we suffer, but in a sense, it's not that just having a body, mind, emotions or roles is a problem on a certain sense, but because we forget that we are more than all of these things. Because we constantly forget, as she was saying, we keep on forgetting. Despite speaking, after a few minutes, I'll also be caught up in that. So constantly reminding ourselves and nourishing that identity. That's what a spiritual life is. Spiritual vision does not reject life, it puts life in the right place. So it's not going to take away your independence. People think, oh, spiritual life, it will take away my independence. I just want to do whatever I want. No, spiritual life actually gives you independence. It's not going to make you be dictated by anything and everything around. It's going to replace the independence back in your hand, which we have lost to society, opinions, fashion, and all these things. We have lost our independence. Spiritual life will hand us back that independence. So when we have this proper identity, then from that identity you do even a little that will be worthwhile, that will be satisfying to you, that will be contributing to others. So there is nothing great about just being busy. So it's about being busy all the time in a city like New York City without even knowing who we are. So when we become clear, become situated on that platform of being an observer as the soul, then from that place act. Then your efforts won't actually drain you. Otherwise, when you're attached to these temporary identities, it drains you. So then when you have a proper purpose, then it'll be your efforts will be better. So I don't think we need to get into everything here. It's a long presentation. How much time do we have left?
About
Few minutes.
Yeah.
10.
about 10 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to complete the thing. So once you have, like, we all want to act, we all want to do. So it's not enough to understand who you are and what you can do, your skills and abilities. You also need to know what is the thread that's connecting all of us. So what is our relationship on a universal level? What is the connection that we are deeply hankering for? Without that, if you just start doing things, still you won't feel fulfillment. So when connection is missing, we constantly look for substitutes. Even though like you are a very successful person, if you don't have like a person to share that success with, if there is no connection, then it feels like meaningless. So connection is also very important. So disconnection usually creates restlessness. But what is that disconnection? It's not just with other people. So it is a deep disconnection with our own self and with the divine. That we think we are just like matter. We just came out of chance. That we don't have any reason behind life itself. There is no purpose behind life itself. So with that kind of a world, we will become very lost. Because that's a worldview that fuels disconnection. We all know, you travel in a train, you just look at all the strangers, you don't feel like very nourished, but you find one friend there, oh, the whole train ride becomes a joyous ride. Oh, okay, you're catching up because you create a meaningful connection. So a worldview which says that you are nothing but matter, you just created out of chance and your life has no purpose, it's actually fueling disconnection. It's going to make us unhappy actually. So without connection, we won't be happy. And that connection is not just with our own selves, with others in the society, but with also the Supreme. So we don't need more motivation in life. we have enough of it on YouTube and all the social media. What we need is deeper connection, and that's not going to come from your phone. That's going to come from internally. It's within us. The connection with the Supreme is already there. We just have to activate it, and the process of activating is chanting the holy names and engaging in devotional processes. So we have a technique here. So each one has a method to offer. So this is all a problem statement. So here I'm like a person who's not just going to present the problem statement, but I also have a solution. So every school has a solution. So here this is a school of Bhakti, and the solution is actually redevelop your connection. Understand who you are, understand what is the right way to act, and develop a connection. So without these things, we won't be happy. And what is the process to develop connection? So the connection comes by remembering the divine. So the Gita's way is, Krishna says in the Gita, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So that developing that we are not just products of matter. So we have a purpose for being in this world and understanding that purpose. And the processes of bhakti is very simple. So we use this technology called as the divine sacred sound technology. So that is the mantra. So just by listening to this spiritual sound, our original, we'll be able to get in touch with that real identity. We'll be able to see through all those layers. I'm not this body, I'm not this emotions. We'll be able to clear all those unnecessary layers and be able to see through who we are and what is the eternal connection that we have with God. That will be awakened just by chanting this mantra. It may sound like, oh, it doesn't make sense. You spoke all these, your solution is not matching. The solution is mystical. If you really want to experience mysticism, if you really want to experience magic, we are here showing you a spiritual mysticism that you being here in Brooklyn, in your own apartment, in your own space, you could be a mystic. You don't need to go to some far land to become a mystic. That you could experience that connection to yourself and to God right here by actually focusing inward, taking the mantra, and the sound will do everything. So the sound will awaken that connection, will give us remembrance. We have forgotten it now. So again, just summarizing the whole thing, there are these three topics Gita says will increase your well-being. If you understand who you are, what is the right way to act in this world, and what is your connection with this world, with yourself, with others, and ultimately with God. If you have clarity on these three things, your well-being will be better. So if you want to have a better quality of life in 2026, invest your time in understanding these things. Who am I? What am I actually predominantly identifying myself with in my life? Think about it and see what you can do to develop connection with the Supreme. And we have a method here we are offering you, that just by chanting this simple sound, it's a spiritual sound, it's not any random sound. Just by focusing your attention on that sound, the sound will enter into your mind and cleanse the mind and awaken your remembrance. So if it does not make sense, it won't, because you don't have an experience. So I'm not just sitting here and repeating something. We have also practiced for some time. And with that conviction, also we can say it's not just personal conviction, it's also scripturally supported. Thousands and thousands and millions of people have done for hundreds and thousands of years this technology of meditating on the sound. So this is the method we are offering. If you apply it sincerely, you will see a change for yourself. And we are not charging you for that. It's very simple. You can carry it with you anytime, anywhere, any place, every single day. And it doesn't take much time, very less than your screen time, for sure. So it's a very easy thing to actually apply. And if you take it seriously, you will be able to discover some more well-being in 2026. So all the best. And any thoughts? Yeah.
So even if one chance without the faith that I'm not sure if this is going to help me, but I will do it sincerely, will that still benefit?
Yeah, that was my life. I was 17-year-old when I came across this mantra. I had no faith it will do anything to me. I would chant and my friend would say, "Hey, are you 70-year-old or 17-year-old? Why are you wasting your time?" I said, "What can a mantra do? I'm not speaking to a guy, shaven head, wearing this. So I'm just sitting and chanting in my own space. What will do?" Because my friend said it'll improve my focus. And I was studying for GRE. I wanted to do masters here. So he told me my memory power will increase. I thought, oh, I'll just chant this mantra. What can happen? After chanting, my only qualification was I chanted it for 6 months. Whether I liked it, whether I did not understand, to be very honest. And I would just lie down and just hold the mala like this, like this, like that, and would play another song on the background, do all kinds of. However, you're not supposed to. That's how I chanted. If you, for your information, whatever is the rules, I did not follow it. I did not know it as a teenager. I didn't care about it. But one thing I committed to was I told I will do this. I'm going to do this. So I did 6 months, and I started feeling, oh, there's something changing in me. So I started waking up early. I started sitting, and then I started chanting. So my friends are like, okay, there's something wrong here. So it does work. It does work. All you have to do is have little faith, give it the time that it takes. Your commitment, that's all is required. Because it's not a very simple. We don't have a awareness, so it's not very easy to understand how this process will work. If you experience, then you can attest to it. Thank you. Yeah. I saw him first. You already spoke once, so he also spoke. Okay, ladies first then.
It's about the quality of chanting. The way you said that you chant, sometimes I chant with the idea that I've never done 16 rounds. So I'm like, maybe this year, 26, I can do 16 rounds. And so I start chanting very fast. And I find that when I did one round, really focused, really, I got a lot. And when I try to just head for try to make more, I didn't get so much. So is it better just to slow down and enjoy the chanting, or is it better to try to get your 16 rounds in? Which is
What is your favorite dessert?
apple pie.
Apple pie. So if I give you the best quality apple pie, this small quantity, will you be satisfied? You want more. So quantity, quality, both are important. Yes, it is very nice that you're trying to chant very quality. It's good. Start there. But we all, as you grow, you need to eat more. So if there is quality, you will naturally want to eat more. If I gave you a little taste, you go to a shop and then you say, hey, this looks nice. Can you give me a taste testing sample? And if it is nice, you want more. So if your chanting is really like you're focusing, you will experience more as you will make more time if you really like it. So start there. It's good to start with the quality, but quantity is also important in certain things because our minds have been absorbed in so much material sound for so long. So it needs a certain amount of threshold to actually break that. So yes, good quality, but quantity is also important. Yeah.
Embody you into intentional mantra, and you become that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there are a lot of subtle things that happen. The idea is even if you don't understand, Prabhupada said, even if you don't understand, we take a pill, we don't know what the pill is doing inside, but we benefit from taking the pill. Similarly, whether you understand what the mantra does or not inside, if you just take it like a prescription, like a medicine, sincerely, the mantra will actually create the effect, and you will be able to experience that, and that will give you more strength and faith to carry it on.
So right before the end, this is about the three modes and identity. And so one of our teachers explained, so on the lowest mode, tamas, we're the boss. That's our identity. We're the controller, we're the boss. And then the second mode, passion, we might not be the boss, but we know how to enjoy everything. We're the enjoyer. So we know how to relish. And then in Sattva Gun, the first mode, we're the savior.
Mm.
We've got the knowledge. But beyond that, we're the servant.
Mm.
And so that's the identity of the soul, as a lover. He's a servant. And so I was just